Maniga see a short karma. Treat the land long by Mabido. Shout out. Joy out the way, land out the way, shadow out the way. It had the water quarter of it. Bind it, Dhamma Taluda. For the Kaitamana, Nayo Diari, Mia, Chili, Atlantic Kaitana, Miajiva. Nature the Kaitamana, Miajiva. The Kunet who sets up, they never will finish Ramolo. They never will set up the pit or it. You are there, Nanayo Diari, Dia. P. Billy Joy, whatever. And I get your dog. P. Billy Joy, she died dealer, she died dealer. Buddha do Pasati travel. Buddha. Chong Jok Shinida, Shinida. Pasati. Mila de Buddha do a pit die, do she die. Mila de Lusuara. Did all Jose Lanza Chazema. The Gacy Hoshi and Nane of the Ari DJ. George, Flaman, Chachaja. Italy, Malodam Mafuya. Yogi got Jovito Jonah Sayadaw. Peace in her. Probably done any stay of God. Don't they all change answer what it already. Yeah, she knew. A dim chin without the AG. Hello, Senation Lucia. Jose Garlama. The Gacy Hoshi needed. Nana of Diago. Tito about the Karaga Nang. The Karaga Yogo. We have a deep pissy or the cool delusion and our Pizona Baba. The Gacy TV solution. Jose Garlama. Pili the young and Diariha. The Kujima Dwet. Say bed to a body. Poco ho, that one ho. Yogya Mayama ho. Never swear the Atamama ho, Sravoli. Go on, you see no other. Very easy, Yaw so below. To get a she or she die, the bit of Modari, so that had a girl. Atoya Suravoli. Shumaya Nalia Bada.
Yesterday, Sayadawgyi spoke about how doing the walking meditation, in one step, one observes three parts: the lifting part, the moving part, and the placing. And that is called going. It's just marked off in parts. In the lifting, there's many occurrences of mind and matter. In the moving too, many occurrences of mind and matter. And in the placing also, mind and matter. And these are connected one and another subtly in the lifting movement. So to know this as it is, one needs to go slowly. And if one does, then one will know what is really there as it is. It is said in Pali, Bhutang Bhutato Pasati. One comes to see Pasati, Bhutang, what arises due to causes, bhutato, as they really are. Thus, while lifting and while moving, while placing, if one wants to see the nama and rupa that are really there, as soon as the lifting occurs, as soon as the moving occurs, as soon as the placing occurs, in order not to miss, the yogi needs to be prepared. There has to be the energy of pushing the mind to the object, and there has to be the energy of aiming. These two are very important. And when one is ready in that way, then in the moment of lifting, one will see. Sometimes one will see the matter that is involved in lifting. And sometimes one will see the mind, the nama that is involved. These are really there. And if we see either one of these, the matter or the mind, that is enough. So when we know this, whether it is one by one or part by part, when we know these mind and matter, then we know that there's not a person there, not a woman or a man. There's not an atma, a soul, that many people believe in. This becomes very clear. In order to get this knowledge, we have to observe so that we can become free of the things that aren't really there. And the yogis need to understand this. In the moment of lifting, the mind and matter, the evident mind and matter, are only there at that moment. Before the lifting, they haven't occurred yet. One can't see them. After the lifting, they're gone. They've disappeared. At that time, one can't see true nature. What one sees is not true nature at that time. So if one wants to observe the true nature that is there, one has to observe while the lifting is happening, in the moment of lifting, with the method of Satipatthana, as now. In the moment of lifting, what lifts is the body, intention is mind. And to see these, one needs to have mental energy. When the mental energy is fulfilled, one will see this for sure. If the mind falls on the true nature, then at sometimes one will see this series, one will know the series of intentions, the mental aspect. Sometimes one will observe the pushing from below, that is the air element. Whatever, when the mind falls on the lifting, one will know one or the other of these things. And if one does, then one will know there's not a self. There's not him or me. There's not a man or a woman. There's just matter and mind, rupa and nama. And knowing like that is knowing what is there as it really is. This is true knowledge, not gained from reading, not gained from hearing it from a teacher, and not gained from thinking about it. It's gained through applying the method of Satipatthana as the yogis are now, applying effort and aiming to observe steadfastly as soon as the lifting occurs. So the yogis can understand this quite well.
ဒီလိုကြွစိတ်ကာလမှာတကယ်ရှိအောင်ရှိနေတဲ့နာနဲ့ရုပ်တရားတွေဟာမကြွခင်ကလည်းပဲကြွခြင်းနဲ့စိတ်ကိုဖြစ်သေးဘူးကြွလောက်အောင်လို့စိတ်တွေမပေါ်သေးဘူးအဲ့ဒီဟာမသိကြတဲ့ဟာကိုလည်းပဲစိတ်ကူးနဲ့ကြုံမှလို့သဘာဝမသိပါဘူးကြွပြီးလွန်ပြီးမှလည်းတွားပြီးတော့မှလို့ရှိရင်လည်းပဲတကယ်ကြွစေကာလမှာကြွခြင်းနဲ့စိတ်အစစ်စစ်လည်းမသိနိုင်ပါဘူးကြွရုပ်အစစ်စစ်လည်းမသိပါဘူးလွန်သွားပြီဒီတော့အခုဖြစ်တုံးဖြစ်ဆဲလေးကိုအခုလိုတတိပ္ပာနည်းနဲ့ကြွစေခဏနဲ့ကြွခြင်းနာကနော်ကြွတာကရုပ်အဲ့ဒါတိချာသိအောင်လို့စူးစိုက်မှရတယ်စူးစိုက်မှလို့သူသိပြီဆိုလို့ရှိရင်အတ္တကောင်မဟုတ်အသက်ကောင်မဟုတ်ယောက်ျားမဟုတ်မိန်းမမဟုတ်ဟုတ်တာကနာနဲ့ရုပ်ပဲဆိုတာပေါ့လေအမှန်တိုင်းသိလာတော့ဒါကအမှန်တိုင်းသိတယ်ဆိုတာတကယ်ကိုရှင်းရှင်းလင်းလင်းပြတ်ပြတ်သားသိလာတော့ပဲအလို့ယူသေးတယ်လို့ပြတ်သားတာပဲဒါပဲမှန်ကြည်လင်လို့ရှိရင်ကြည်လင်တယ်လို့အယုတ်ထင်တယ်လို့ပဲမှလို့အညီကျေးတွေကင်းပြီဆိုလို့ရှိရင်အညီကျေးကင်းတယ်လို့ကြော်တဲ့ကာလမှာထင်ရှားတဲ့နာနဲ့ယုတ်တရားတွေပြီးပြီးသားသာရှင်းရှင်းလင်းလင်းသိလာတော့တာပဲ
In the moment of lifting, the rupa and nama are really there at that moment. Before the lifting, the intention to lift will not be there. and neither will the lifting. And we can't use our imagination and then note what we imagine. After the lifting, if one tries to observe at that time, one won't see the series of intentions, the mind. One won't see the series of physical lifting up, the matter. So only if one observes while the lifting is happening with the method of satipatthana, observing carefully so as to know clearly, then one will know that in the moment of lifting, what lifts is the body, intention is mind. Not a self or a soul, no being, no woman or man, just body and mind. So when one knows what is as it is, that is knowing correctly. And to the extent one works respectfully and carefully, one will know clearly. It's similar to when we want to look at an image in the mirror. The mirror has to be polished clean in order for the image to be clear. So we have to, when we have a clean mind, we will be able to come to know clearly mind and matter.
Nayo pose shuma kwe chwa de khaita ma nane yuk de po ni do po li chwa de lo tigi ja shuma lo shi ye nande sha yuk de cha alo kwe di la da ele kwe di la le so lo shi ye khona pugu tattawa aswe atta aswe အဲ့ဒီအစွဲလန်းကြီးအမှားကြီးမြင်တာပေါ့လေအဲ့ဒီအမှားကြီးဟာအလိုလိုပြောက်သွားတော့ပဲသို့သောရှုမှတ်တဲ့အခါမှာတော့ဒါနာမဲဒါရုပ်ပဲဆိုတာတော့ဒီလိုတော့ခွဲပြီးတော့မှတ်ဖို့မလိုဘူးပေါင်းလိုက်ပဲမှတ်ဖို့ပဲကြွတယ်ဆိုတော့ဒါပဲစာဝဲထဲမှာပါလာတဲ့အတုံးလေးတွေဖက်ကလေးတွေအရေးလေးတွေသူ့မှာရှိနေတဲ့ချုပ်ရှင်စပ်ပါငါးခါအရသာရွေးစားလို့မရပါဘူးအဲ့ဒီအရသာပါတဲ့အတုံးလေးတွေဖက်ကလေးတွေအရေးလေးတွေပါဇာတဲ့ထည့်ပြီးတော့ဝါလိုက်မှတောက်လိုက်မှရှာပေါ်မှာအရသာတွေရောက်လာတယ်အဲ့ဒီသဘောမျိုးပဲကြွားစဲကာလမှာထင်ရှားနေတဲ့အရသာတစ်ဖွဲ့အရသာနဲ့တူတဲ့ခုနကြွခြင်းနဲ့စိတ်အစဉ်စဉ်အပေါ်ကိုတွန်းတင်လိုက်သူတောင့်တင်လာတဲ့ကြွရုပ်အစဉ်စဉ်ဒါစားကြတဲ့အရသာနဲ့တူတယ်လို့ပြောခဲ့ပါတယ်မှတ်တဲ့အခါမှာအတုံးလိုက်တိလိုက်ပဲမှတ်တာပဲကြွတယ်ပဲဒီလိုတုံးလိုက်အဲဒီမှာရှိနေတဲ့ဟာရွေးမှလို့မရဘူးအဲ့ဒါတော့နားလည်ရပါတယ်ဒီတော့ကြွတယ်ဆိုတာပါဇာတဲ့အတုံးလိုက်တက်လိုက်အရေးလိုက်ဝါးလိုက်လို့ရှိရင်သူ့ရှိတဲ့အရာသာထွက်လာသလိုပဲတရားရှိမှလို့ရှိရင်ကြွတဲ့ကာလမှာထင်ရှားတဲ့အရာသာနဲ့တူတဲ့သဘောတရားတွေပေါ့လေကြွခြင်းတဲ့စိတ်အစဉ်စဉ်ကြွတဲ့ရုပ်အစဉ်စဉ်နဲ့တစိတ်သေးကနှစ်ခုခွာပြီးတော့မသိဘူးတခါတခါကြွခြင်းတဲ့စိတ်ရောက်သွားမယ်တခါတခါကြွရုပ်စီရောက်သွားမယ်ဘယ်ဟာပဲကြည့်ပြီးဖြစ်စေတခုခုသိလိုက်လို့ရှိရင်ရှားမတင်ရှားတဲ့ဟာမသိပြီမယ်လို့သိတဲ့ပါသွားတာပဲအဲ့ဒါတော့နားလည်ထားရပါတယ်
When nama rupa arise, observe steadfastly and discern. If we observe mind and matter at the moment that they arise with steadfast observation, we will automatically discern mind and matter. We will see mind and matter as separate things. And when we see mind and matter as separate things, then the idea that there's a person automatically goes away. One no longer sees in that way. Although when we observe there are two things involved, mind and matter, there's no need to pick out one and just observe that. Oh, this is mind, this is matter. We just observe the whole thing as lifting. It's like when we eat a bit of food. The food can have one of 6 tastes: sweet, sour, hot, salty, bitter, and astringent. And we can't just pick out one taste and eat it separately from the others. What we do is we put the lump of food into the mouth and we chew it, and only when we do that does the flavor of the food reach the tongue. So in the lifting, the series of intentions to lift is like a flavor that we can taste. And the qualities of pushing up from below, or becoming stiff or tense, becoming light, this also is like the flavor that is involved in lifting. And we observed it as just as lifting. We can't pick out the individual bits of true nature and note them separately. So if, similarly to when we eat, if we put the food in our mouth and chew carefully, we'll know what the food tastes like. And if one observes the lifting carefully at the moment it happens, then the true nature, which is really there, which is obvious, will become apparent, the intention occurring in a series. Or else the series of lifting up, the qualities of pushing from below, and so on. One can't know both of these at the same time. Sometimes one will know one, the mind. Sometimes one will know the matter. But when we know the one that is clear to us, the obvious one, the one that is not obvious is automatically included. So the yogis must understand this.
ကျွတ်ကျေကာလမှာနန္ဒေယုတ်မရှိမနှောင်းပေါ့လေတစ်ခုကရှေ့ကြတယ်တစ်ခုကနောက်ကြတယ်ဆိုတာအဲ့ဒါမရှိဘဲနဲ့တစ်ပိုင်းနဲ့ထဲပေါ်လာတဲ့အခါအပေါင်းလိုက်နေတယ်မှတ်လို့ရှိရင်တစ်ခုခုတည်သွားတယ်ကျန်တဲ့မထင်ရှားတဲ့ဟာလေတည်ပြီးသားဖြစ်သွားတယ်ဆိုတဲ့သာရကကတော့ကျိုးလင်းတစ်ချောင်းထိတ်ကနေပူးပြီးတော့ခြိထားတယ်မြေကြီးထဲမှာမြုပ်နေတဲ့တစ်ချောင်းကတော့ကျိုးလေးတစ်ချောင်းကတော့ပေါ်နေတယ်ကျိုးလေးတစ်ချောင်းကတော့မြေကြီးထဲမြုပ်နေတယ်မြုပ်မြင်ဖြစ်တဲ့ကျိုးလေးတစ်ချောင်းဆွဲပြီးတော့ပေါ်လိုက်လို့ရှိရင်လက်ထဲပါလာတဲ့ဆွဲလိုက်တဲ့ကျိုးသာပါတာမဟုတ်ဘူးဒီဘောပေါ်နေတဲ့ကျိုးနဲ့တစ်ဆက်တည်းဆက်ဆက်နေတဲ့ဧကပတ္တဆိုတာပေါ့လေမြကြီးတဲ့မြုပ်နေတဲ့ဟာပါတခါတည်းပါလာတာဘာလို့ဆိုတော့တစ်ခုတည်းဆက်ဆက်တဲ့ချိန်ထဲမှာအဲ့ဒီသဘောမျိုးပါပဲသို့သောမြကြီးတဲ့မြုပ်နေမှတော့မသိဘူးပေါ့လေထိရှားတဲ့မြကြီးမောပေါ်နေတဲ့ကျိုးဆွဲလိုက်တာနဲ့မထင်ရှားတဲ့ဟာပါတော့တပေါင်းနဲ့ပါလာတယ်ပါဘာဖြစ်လို့တော့ဆိုတော့ဧကပတ္တတစ်ချိန်နဲ့တစ်ဆက်တည်းဖြစ်နေလို့တဲ့အဲ့ဒီသဘောမျိုးပါပဲ
When there's lifting, the mind and the matter that occur in the lifting happen at the same time, not one and then another. They occur all at the same time. And if we observe the lifting as a whole thing, we will know one of these aspects. And the others will automatically be known too. So how this is, an example to show you that this can happen is an analogy of a piece of rope that is made up of strands, say 3 or 4 strands. And this rope is buried in the earth. But there's one strand of the rope that is above ground. And so we pull on that one strand. And what do we get? We don't get just the strand that is in our hand. We get all the other strands that are connected to that one strand. They also come out. So when they're underground, we don't know that they're there. We can't see them. But when we pull the one strand, because the strands, said in Pali, ekabada, they're all connected, tied up with each other at the same time. So when we pull one strand, we get all of the strands that are connected to that one.
Pura nane yo saraboli. Edi aso may die body. Edi kaita ma shiri yona diari DJ. Chora go to bone map, chore, teach the yogi alope. Papa Mialu, Uriatri to Maridi, Piso Nareca. Tidora. Kona Jolly Lechon Putara Mirima, the Chawa Milk, the Chawa Mijibo, Polida. Teacher, so you look here, Matisare, Mide, you need to have a Kare Palada. Nana, you decided to teacher how diligent, Matisare had a Kare TV of Shetora. Teacher for my Wisa at the Matisare, you remember my Wisa, 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 the Venetam of Shifu, Alene among her, the Venetam of Shifu. Among Shida Kaiva, a limb Yao, Lily de Kaiva, among Lao. The Kushi, the Kun Shifu, Eddie the Bon Yoga Dhamma. Edari go Nalia Bare, the show Sinza de Poguri, Edari, a Puri, Sinzalogy, a Loki, Kit or the Paretuaro.
In the moment of lifting, what lifts is the body, matter. Intention is mind, nama. Not a person or soul, not a woman or a man. What appears is just body and mind. If we want to know them as they are, when lifting, we have to observe lifting as a whole thing. This is the yogi's job. And when we observe a lot, many, many times, we will come to know. It's like with the rope made up of 4 strands. 3 strands are buried underground, and 1 strand of the rope is above ground, and we can see it. So we pull the strand that we can see. And we get all 4 strands. So nama and rupa, they are occurring together. And when we observe, one of these parts is obvious to us. The other is not obvious. We observe what is obvious. So, is it possible to have knowledge, vijja, arise regarding what we observe, and at the same time regarding the things that are not observed, for there to be ignorance or avidya? These two can't happen in the same moment. So when we are observing, it's like when there's light occurring, there can't be darkness happening at the same time. When there's darkness happening, there's not light happening at the same time. So when we observe the thing that's obvious, we know one thing that's obvious, but the other aspects of that thing, it's not possible that we can be ignorant at that time of them. So people who think and reflect about this, they are missing out on their work. If one doesn't know in this way, then the initial beliefs, the initial false beliefs will not be removed, the initial beliefs that we have. So if one observes, then one will know mind and matter, and it's because knowing arises about what is really there, the not knowing is removed. It's as though when light arises, darkness is removed automatically. So we observe, we note it as lifting, and when we observe and are able to see the distinction between nama and rupa, mind and matter, then the false view of self, of a being, of man, of woman, the view that there's a soul or atta, this is removed. It's said in Pali, nama rupanang yatawa dasanang ditivi sudi nama. That means that in the moment of lifting, the mind and matter that are really there, if one observes them as they are, when one sees them, yatawa dasanang, when one sees them as they really are, that is, when we observe it as lifting, sometimes we observe the mind, sometimes we observe the matter. To see them as they really are is called deti visuddhi, or purity of vision, purity of view.
Di kaita ma riya maya shiki pubabaga meke tikai chanda ya chao sei pai boli nga myo tba le pa twa de Babungaro Shomuli Pola and Elisi Sikli Katwa Asahu the Puma Asajet Magani Asahu Era was Samawama making cover. Everyone Sikli Katwada, the Chadaba Sigama gave anybody. Say Semayamu Muya on body. Reka were not Koti. So shouted. Pesore, Ilonjone. Other was trying that he seated the lily parlor. He did a lily parlor, say Semayamu Muemu. I don't want to cannot say that. Outside Piro, Adipoma, Sikali Katwala, the Charawala Sigama Kiro, you must say when Edatamari. Uriya Tatitamari, Edadi of Mangane had a Piro, Tamawayama making, Tamatadi making it, Tamadamari make it to your Pitora. To Chite Kaitama. But the Liga Tami, the Mediti, the Matosa Temple. Sanjaman, you were not Yari, Sanjaman Kilitari, Gotua. Nideo, you don't tell you to the Matalu Recover. Suluraro, making Shiparega, a Levi, Tomari making Toma Padware. Nego Aleve. Korea Podamia Ione Tishare Ione to Tinsagama Pavana say that also you as Utara chain her. But Madame Mateo now Mapamia kind of tailor. Era Tamasingaba making cover. Chocolate tailor. Jore, Ali, Malalusi, the Karagama, Dowdiness is out for him, Taylor. Erali Titi to Eddie Titi to the Tamatiti making cover. Drum sensibly, down below Portella, Lady Titi to the Yogo Tira. Maya, young net, day below Erali Titi to the Karaga, George and says. Is the Yogology, Edality, Eddie Ione, Dia, Sumata Sine, Teodora, Titi Dora. Quinja Teodora, Samasiga making Covido, Edality, Amanda Titi to the Tamatiti making Edapina making cover. Tida, Eddie. The one making Tomane Pia making Napa, a piece of Barra. The Gova, Lusoye, Mavatila, Tomo Shipatila, Kisone. Some was at Samagamada, some was Jiwazara. Tila making the PGVita. She answered, she had the PGVita. Tila with the she Tila making a piece of Dwavi. Tila Pichi Nere, Tila make a tomba. Shulema Pare, Conatamari make a tomba. Pia make it Napare. Era Atingiga Mega Corave. Inga Shipane, piece of net. Nipan Yokon, Lanjo, Lanjo, say Pine. Shulu Tira Eddie making Navaha. Poor with that shit, what? The Manima Solution in second month Chelsea. The second Matamacha net 12 Solution, Jimon Chelsea. The second Matamacha net 12 no the Manima Solution, Jimon Tonse. Here are the poor with that shit, what? Fellow Congress, but Tamu fellow she gets you. Era di piedi del Kama. Children so gare Udekama Kilita, Nikeri, era di Kelly. စိတ်ထဲမှာဖြစ်တဲ့ပရိယုဌာဏကိလေသာတွေထကြွတောင်းကြတဲ့ကိလေသာတွေလည်းဖြစ်ကုန်ရအတိညာလေးတွေဖြစ်သွားတော့အဲ့ဒီမှတ်ပြတဲ့အာယုံမှာကိလေသာမျိုးပါပြတ်သွားတယ်အနုတ္တိယကိလေသာပါပြတ်သွားတယ်အဲ့တော့အကျဉ်းအလားအနုကိလေသာတွေမှန်သမျှရှုတိုင်းမှာပါနေတဲ့ဒီလက်တော်ဒီပညာ3ရပ်နဲ့ဖယ်ရှားပြလိုက်တဲ့အခါကျတော့ဘာမှမရှိတော့ဘူးရှင်းသွားတာပဲကွာအဲ့ဒါဘယ်လောက်တန်ဖိုးရှိတယ်လဲဆိုတာယောဂီများတွေ့ကြည့်ပေါ့ပေါ်ဆဆမလုံးရှိရင်တော့အဲ့ဒါကြီးဆုံးတာပဲရိုးသေးလုံးကိုယ်မှဖြစ်လာပြီဆိုလို့ရှိရင်အဲ့ဒါကြီးအမျက်တွေထွက်လာတာပဲမရိုးသေးဘူးမစိစပ်ဘူးယနာလုပ်တယ်ဆိုလို့ရှိရင်အဲ့ဒီခိုက်တာမှာတော့အဲ့ဒီအရိယာမရဲ့ရှေ့ပြေးပုဗ္ဗဗကမဲ့ကြီးလေးဆုံးရှုံးသည်တဲ့နိဗ္ဗာန်လမ်းကြောင်းပိတ်သွားသည်တဲ့တကယ်ချမ်းသာရဖို့ရလမ်းကြောင်းပိတ်သွားသည်တဲ့လမ်းကြောင်းပြတ်သွားသည်အဲ့ဒါရှိပါတယ်ယူသေးသေးနဲ့ရှုမှလို့အဲ့ဒါတွေဖြစ်လို့ရှိရင်နိဗ္ဗာန်လမ်းကြောင်းဖြောက်နေသည်တဲ့ကြာတော့လမ်းပြောက်သွားရောလမ်းပြောက်သွားရင်တော့ဘာမှမလုပ်တတ်မကိန်းတော့ဖြစ်သွားတာ
At this moment, the forerunner path leading to Nibbana is present. There are 5 parts of the Eightfold Path involved at this moment. When one makes ardent effort to observe the object as soon as it arises, this is correct effort, and so there is samavayama, right effort present. And the mind sticks to the object. It doesn't run anywhere. The mind is protected. There's the function of sati rekavirana goti, that the mind is defended against defilements. It's closed off from the defilements, and security is created. This factor is present, and defilements don't enter the mind. And the mind falls collectedly on the object. To the extent that the mind sticks to the object and doesn't run anywhere else, it becomes unified, collected on the object. So at this moment, there's virya, sati, and samadhi occurring, effort, mindfulness, and concentration. And these are occurring in the correct way. So there is samavayama, right effort, samasati, right mindfulness, samasamadhi, right concentration. When these are occurring, Pachanika dhamme sametiti samato, according to the Pali saying that was heard a few days ago, the factors which oppose the wholesome mind are being suppressed. And this is samatha. So these 3 factors are part of the Eightfold Path, the 3 middle factors of right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. And in addition, one is always applying accurate aim to observe the object. At first, one's aim is not accurate, but later on, one's able to observe the object directly, head on. And this is samasankappa, right application of the mind. So, moment after moment, the mind keeps on observing the object precisely. And so in the moment of observing the lifting, one observes it directly, and sometimes one comes to know stiffness and tension. When there's stiffness, the mind falls on stiffness. When there's hardness, when the mind encounters that directly, it knows the stiffness or tension. It meets these qualities directly, and so it comes to know them. And this is samadhi, right view. So sometimes what one knows, when one observes the lifting with these factors, sometimes one knows how the foot becomes light and goes up. Sometimes that is what one observes. Sometimes one observes the series of intentions. So the noting mind is meeting with the object exactly, time and again. This is sammasankappa, or right application of the mind. And due to this sammasankappa, there's knowledge which arises, which is called here samadhi, right knowing, right view. And these are the two factors of the wisdom section of the path, Panyamagginga. So in this, there are 5 parts of the path involved. And to begin with, we take the 8 precepts for lay yogis. And when we do this, our sila, our morality is complete. For monks, they keep their sila. So in this way, we have purity of sila visuddhi. And at that time, the 3 factors of the sila portion of the path are present. In addition, the 3 factors of the samadhi, concentration portion of the path are present, and the 2 factors of the wisdom portion of the path. So at this moment of observation, the path to Nibbana, which has 8 parts, is present. Because of our observation, these 8 parts are automatically being developed. And in 1 minute of observation, 1 minute or 60 seconds, if there's 1 observation per second, then there's 60 moments that this 8-fold path is present. If we only note 1 every other second, still, there will be 30 moments in a minute where this path is arising. So one can consider for oneself how valuable this is. When this is occurring, the transgressive kilesas, the ones which are expressed through actions and speech, these are eliminated. And the obsessive defilements, the obsessive kilesas, these also have no chance to arise. Because knowing is arising, this eliminates the latent kilesas which lie dormant regarding the object. So in every moment one observes, these kilesas or defilements are being eliminated. They're being cleaned out. So this is quite valuable. One can calculate for oneself. If we do this work carelessly, then we lose the Eightfold Path in that moment. If we do the work respectfully, then in that moment we gain this profit. So without respectful work, if one is not working respectfully, then one is missing out on the path to Nibbana. The path to Nibbana is being blocked at that time. And if one observes, then in every moment of observation, the path to Nibbana is present. So if the path to Nibbana is not present due to careless work, then over time this path will disappear. And if it disappears, then nothing will happen.
Nanayo gulo nina shulo Parvazon Tisa Pubi Solution Eri Chinga Sabido Tila Pieto no Lunet Dure. We are the Jitamari Pili Kama Sitalidia Sintero Lulu Sitata Jonah Panchati Muga Sadi Yanadi Pilavi Solution Sadi Duko did Sabomia Swatara Holo Ludinya Shivido Lute Lulepilla Tama Lude Talone Lu Sama Pisa Pula the Massa Hava Tido di Tripta Pavana Dia a Joe Tinale Vido Miano Tabuta say Nevoli Joe the Tegusacaria Chessa on Tatisacria Manivana Natita Cria, the Abu Lady Tongu Piso Yeme Mitagimave, the Bar Twins of Lucia. The lady filled out of a Jala and the Papa. The Padres of Tila of it. And the Tila is a Luciano Lunet Duza Lulu Sitata Ludinya Sivido body, Tamalude Talone Luderma Josa Pula of it. That is Gao, Shelly Masolochi, Balope, Logi Pinari, Tata, Balope, Pisiri, Shishi, Balope, Yaruri, Chichi, a Gulum of Chitebu Solution, two shake the level, Chilcoe, Lumupita, Lulu Sim Tatafu, Ludinya Shibusu, way over him, Tamantu Lukolopo, Luwapia Ravatama. The Guru Kil Kajima Magane Nila and Shietale Lubida Umanita, Lulu Simitata, Ludinya Shivita, Luda Lupio Chibuya, Dweboli, Di Kuyejigo, Lemelofuya, Dweboli, Jondon Sono Kale, Di Lunganigo, Miano Tabuta Vido, Josa Ato Najava, Lilin and Tetoyene. Dinitia Suntalebara.
When we observe mind and matter with the present method, then this is the start of becoming a person with special human knowledge. We have sila, we have morality. And this morality makes us a true human being, makes us human. And with virya, sati, and samadhi, we are able to keep our mind, our heart humane. We're able to keep our attitude humane. When knowledge arises, we gain, this knowledge that we gain through practice is far better than what can be learned through books. And therefore, Sayadawgyi says that although we have basic human intelligence, the knowledge that we gain through practice is special human knowledge. So at this point, this is the start of gaining this special human knowledge. So because of this, one should, knowing the benefits of the practice, and valuing them. If one works respectfully, sakya kuriya. If one works meticulously, satya kuriya. And if one works without taking a break, without stopping in the middle, natita kuriya. If these three attitudes of mind are complete, then in 1 week, this knowledge will arise. Or, if it takes a long time, it will arise in 2 weeks. So, this is the start of being, as Sayadawgyi mentioned, if one wants to be a true human being with a humane attitude and with special human knowledge, this is the start of it. And to explain further, no matter how much education we have, no matter how much wealth, no matter how much other worldly things one has, if one wastes one's time with ducharitas, with committing wrongdoing, then we're not really a true human being. And a humane heart and special human knowledge are even farther away. At this time, many in the world are not able to live like true human beings with a humane heart and to develop special human knowledge. So having come here and gained this opportunity to develop to achieve this, to be truly human, to develop a humane heart, and to develop knowledge that is special, value this opportunity and practice accordingly. That's all for today. Sadhu, sadhu.